I'm Larry Fowler. I'm chairman of the Arlington Chamber Foundation, and welcome to the 2015-2016 Arlington Independent School District's annual State of the District Luncheon Address. I'm honored to open up this educational and important luncheon. Before we begin, I'd like a round of applause, please, for the Sam Houston High School Quintet, which provided us with the music. And it was under the direction of Christy Tollefson. Ever since Dr. Cavazos took over as the superintendent of the school district, we've been setting attendance records for this event. Again, this year, this event is completely sold out. I think this shows how much support Dr. Cavazos and the board has in the community. And we're very, all of us supportive of Dr. Cavazos and the super. We want to While I'm the chair of the Chamber Foundation, I'm also an attorney and a partner in the Arlington office of Shannon, Gracie, Ratliff, and Miller. As I look around the room today, it's obvious that the Arlington, the North Texas, and the state business community is well represented here today. The Chamber Foundation wants to extend a sincere thanks to all of you for being here. The Chamber Foundation recognizes the importance of this state of the district message and the fact that the AISD is educating and training our future employees. Before we begin, I want to kindly ask all of you to stand as the Texas 31st Air Force Junior ROTC presents the colors. Our Junior ROTC cadets are under the direction of Color Guard Commander and Cadet Captain Kason Hicks.
Color guard, halt, left, haste, present, harvest.
If you would all join me in the pledge, I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Hunt. Right. Haste. Forward. March.
Could all please be seated? Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce the President and CEO of the Arlington Chamber of Commerce to acknowledge our sponsors and recognize several very special guests, Mr. Wes Jurey.
Thank you, Larry, and for your chairmanship of the foundation. Many of you don't know that the foundation is our strategic planning arm, and as such, Larry and that board lead the effort every year in terms of looking out sometimes 5, 10, and even 20 years in terms of where the Chamber's efforts should be focused, and we should give them and the foundation a round of applause. Sold out has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Is it okay with you, Mr. Superintendent? All right. But it wouldn't be sold out without our sponsors, and I really do want to acknowledge them. Our superintendent sponsor, LBL Architects. We have 8 principal sponsors. As you can tell, we've gone from superintendent to principal, and we're working our way through the school hierarchy. Career Cruising, Frost Bank, Encore Electric Delivery, Payco Southwest Realty, Tarrant County College Southeast Campus, Shannon, Gracie, Ratliff, and Miller, the University of Texas at Arlington, VLK Architects. We have 13 teacher sponsors: the Arlington ISD Education Foundation, Ann and Justin Chapa, the Association of Texas Professional Educators, the Arlington Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Committee, the City of Arlington, the Greater Arlington Lions Club, the Kroger Company, Southwest Bank, State Representative Tony Tenderholt for Texas, Texas Trust Credit Union, the United Way of Tarrant County, Workforce Solutions for Tarrant County, and the YMCA of Arlington. We have our media sponsor, the Star Telegram, and photography is provided by Southern Flare Photography. Would you please give all of our sponsors a round of applause? Larry assessed the crowd well. This is a who's who of Arlington, and I'd like to introduce many of our special guests. Our Board of Trustees is, of course, here. Our President, Jamie Sullins. Vice President, Dr. Aaron Reich. John Hibbs, our Secretary, sends his regrets. He is on business or would be here. Keisha Mays, Assistant Secretary. Polly Walton, one of our newly elected members. Kristen Hudson, one of our newly elected members. And Bowie Hogg. Our superintendent, who you will hear from shortly, Dr. Marcelo Cavazos. We have a number of state officials, beginning with State Senator Connie Burton, State Representative Jonathan Stickland, State Representative, and I have to give him a shout out, table sponsor Tony Tenderholt, State Representative Chris Turner, State Representative Bill Zedler, County Commissioner Andy Wynn was scheduled to be here. He literally called me on Friday and said, I'm going out of town, unfortunately, and he sends his regards. And for the City of Arlington, our Mayor, the Honorable Jeff Williams. And the First Lady, Karen. You didn't think you were going to escape, did you, Karen? Okay, I didn't think you thought you were going to escape. City Council members, Jimmy Bennett, Sherry Capehart, Reverend Michael Glaspie, Representative Charlie Parker, Representative Robert Rivera, Representative Catherine Wildman, Representative Lana Wolf, our City Manager Trey Yelverton, and I believe our Deputy City Manager, Gilbert Perales, is here. Now, some of you sometimes say, what's county government? Have you ever said that? I wanted to save the county judge for last because I want to tell you a little anecdote about Glenn Whitley. Many of you don't know this, but when he was Tarrant County Northeast Commissioner, meaning he didn't represent Arlington, he still went with us on our early Team Arlington visits to Washington, D.C., and advocated for and fought for things in Arlington. And I found that now that he's our county judge, he still fights for and advocates for things in Arlington. Ladies and gentlemen, our county judge, Glenn Whitley. Today is a great example of what we have called for a long time Team Arlington, the concept of a community coming together, the city and the county, the chamber and the university, the community college, the school district, the workforce board, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and many more, working collectively for the common good to build our community in ways that will continue to make it a great place to live and work and play. And today is a good time for us to be together. As many of you know, tragedy has come to Arlington, and our officials are giving leadership to resolve that in the most caring way. And I'd like to ask for a small moment of silence, both for them and for the family. If you could join me in one moment of silence, please. Amen. Because we as a community can do much if we work collectively, consensually, and collaboratively. And that's why I'm always pleased to be here. We have an outstanding school district, that's my opinion, Although I will tell you, as chairman of the State Workforce Board, I interact with 28 workforce boards throughout the state, lots of school districts through the Texas Education Agency, and lots of higher ed institutions through a higher ed coordinating board. And it's still my opinion this is an outstanding school district, perhaps one of the most outstanding in the state. And if you look at the progress made and the commitment of the Board of Trustees, our superintendent and staff, I think you begin to see why that's occurring. Challenges, sure. But you talk about challenges in terms of how you proactively confront them, resolve them, and move forward in a meaningful way. Because of all the things communities do, preparing our children to become the future workforce and the future leadership of a community has to rank at the very top. And so it's always a pleasure to be here, to see all of you supporting this event, to come together to understand not only the state of the school district, but what we can do as a community. It's probably a good time to thank you for passing the largest school bond election in Tarrant County history, benefiting the boys and girls who attend Arlington ISD. Congratulations. I've had the privilege of working with Marcelo since I came here in 2001, and I will tell you I don't know of a more innovative, committed educator. I've had the privilege of working with Jamie Sullins since she had aspirations to be on the school board. And even before she became president, I'll tell you an anecdote about her as a way of introducing her. I'm in the office one day and my cell phone rings, and it's Jamie, and she is on her way to Washington to represent the school district, frantically wanting to know how she can get in to see Joe Barton, because that was very important to her. And Jody, as you know, Joe Barton's office has always been responsive, and fortunately I was able to make one call. And Jody, thank you, because immediately Jamie had an appointment with our congressman, and things moved forward from there. You have a truly dedicated public servant in the president of your board of trustees. It's my honor to bring to the podium the president of the Arlington ISD School Board, Jamie Sullins.
Thank you, West. Hello, Team Arlington. On behalf of the Arlington Board of Trustees, to all of our partners here today, and to all that are watching on live stream, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is certainly a uniquely exciting time in our district. In today's connected, fast-paced, technology-rich world, we must make sure our students are prepared over the long haul. Student success isn't just limited to what they know. It's how they work in teams and work collectively and to communicate, to analyze, and to solve complex problems in creative ways. It's about leadership. It's about entrepreneurship and stewardship and preparing for jobs that don't even exist today and adapting over and over the course of their lifetimes. And for us, it's about setting and executing a vision now that gives them the foundation in a highly effective, tax-efficient, modern classroom environment. Now that's a tall order. And addressing this challenge is something that no single board, group, or organization can achieve by ourselves. It is our shared responsibility at the national level, at the state level, and at the local level, across both the education and workforce sectors. And in Arlington, Texas, our strong partnerships provide a platform so that our work together can yield exponential results, so with no separate silos holding us back. And as our city partners work together, building the strong local economy, we're working hand in hand to make sure that the students of today are ready to take the driver's seat in just a few short years. We know that the only way to accomplish this incredibly important feat is through education. An education that ensures every student graduates from high school truly college or career ready. Soon, the strategic plan will continue to spring into action, and students will have access to a beautiful new Career Tech Center, Fine Arts Performance Center, and many other creative learning spaces to grow and thrive. I must say, it gives me great confidence for our students when I stop and reflect on your commitment to public education. It is clearly extraordinary. It is simply not enough for me to say that your work matters to us. It is essential, and I can assure you it's enthusiastically cheered on by your Board of Trustees. Together, it's true, we can achieve the extraordinary with our remarkable people in the system, our teachers and counselors, administrators, that we must continually empower to build, to make sure they have all the tools necessary for their life-changing work. With our talented and generous chamber, business partners here today, Mayor Williams, City Council, county, and civic organizations that all share our passion for building the best school district anywhere right here in Arlington, Texas. With our strong bond with higher education. Dr. Cavazos, who's not here today, but frequently remarks that education is a pre-K to grade journey, and I certainly agree with him. What a great partner we have in UTA as we add STEM facility and curriculum for our very youngest learners and open a STEM academy this fall for our high school. And I couldn't go forward without talking about Tarrant County Community College and Bill Coppola. And Bill was kind enough in his very first days in Arlington, Texas, to return our calls, thank you, Bill, for expanded partnerships. And just a few short years ago, Arlington Collegiate High School was just an idea. But just days ago, it was awarded every single distinction the state of Texas offers to acknowledge excellence in public education in its very first year. Congratulations. Together, we can achieve the extraordinary with our dynamic faith-based community and volunteer army that suits up and reports to our campuses. Parents, grandparents, friends report to our campuses and just keep stepping up and reaching out. Please do plan to come out to a game or a concert or read a book to a child or support our PTAs, our Arlington Education Foundation, AWARE, and other heroes. And of course, we need a great leader, and together we can achieve the extraordinary with our talented superintendent, Dr. Marcelo Cavazos. You know, it's easy to see why the Texas School Alliance recently elected Dr. Cavazos as its vice president. He clearly understands the 21st century realities for our students, both the very real challenges and the unprecedented opportunities. Both have huge implications for teaching and learning here in Arlington. Without question, Dr. Cavazos continues to raise the bar for your district as a whole, for every school in your network, and for each and every student that we serve. We are truly excited for the students of the district because we see his innovative leadership firsthand, making sure doors are open and opportunity is apparent and early enough so that students and families can seize the opportunity and take advantage of all the opportunities provided. Now, like you, I know that I am looking forward to hearing from Dr. Cavazos today and hearing his remarks. So without further delay, let's welcome Dr. Cavazos and hear his thoughts on the state of this great district. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jamie. Let's give Jamie another round of applause and all our board. So welcome today to the state of the district, and as I've shared before, and certainly it's more evident even today, this report, the information I'm going to share with you today, is really more about us. It's not about the superintendent. It's not really about our staff. It's about our students and our community. It's about what we can do together and what we've done together. And so some of the things you're going to hear today are going to be updates, with how did that go? Jamie just mentioned a little bit about the Early College High School. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But also, if you'll bear with me today, I want to make sure that as we add context to today's remarks, that we highlight people. Because the largest bond, new facilities, new programs, opportunities for kids would not happen without the people. And the people of this community, and more importantly, the people in our organization, the people that do the work every single day, their efforts are clearly the result of the outcomes that we achieve together. So I'll do some of that, and I'll try to be kind to Bill and other people. Dr. Kabari's not here, so sky's the limit. So, all right, so you know our vision is to be globally acknowledged as a premier school district. And I've said it before, and I'll remind everyone, the globally acknowledged as a premier school district, not for the adults. Not for the adults. It's nice, but it's for the students, so that their education is globally acknowledged as a premier level of achievement. Our mission statement, I'll just point you to the last words, relevant, innovative, rigorous learning experiences. That's our drive. That's our focus. So you'll hear throughout the presentation how things are relevant, innovative, and rigorous for our students, from the pre-K level to senior level. The framework for success, our theory of action, is inspired learners, effective leadership, and an engaged community. Those three things. Without those three things, we feel our work cannot be successful. This is who we serve. I always like to put this slide as a context of who we serve in Arlington ISD. Over 63,000 students. You see the ethnic breakdown. And you see that 70.1% of our students are economically disadvantaged. And so our services, our education, the delivery of instruction has to adapt to the students we serve. And so every day, the work that's going on in our buildings, in our classrooms, is making sure we adapt to the students we serve. Not lower standards, in fact, higher standards, rigorous standards, including things that the state does not require us to do, above and beyond state requirements, so that our students are served exceptionally well. But it's a reality. And the next part of this slide is really the key. These are the students we serve, but this is our opportunity. This is our opportunity as a school system, our opportunity as a community, to change the lives of students every day. Because that 70% economically disadvantaged, we want that number to go down. We want that number to go down in our community. We want that number to go down because we know that when students are empowered and they're provided an exceptional education, that number goes down. It goes down by family, by sibling, and eventually a generation. That's our task, but that's our opportunity. Because with that, gives us an opportunity to serve students exceptionally well and to really have joy in our labor and the things that we do in school systems. So, very quickly, the district performance results. As things continue to change with TEA and the accountability ratings and which tests count and all that, it makes it for about a 3-hour discussion as to our ratings, but I'm going to boil it down because I know that you've just eaten, and the last thing you want to do is talk about TEA and all that. But let me just boil it down. There are 4 indices that all school districts are rated on. And it's a simple graphic there. And you notice the green line is the standard of the state. And that takes into account student achievement, student progress, closing the achievement gap, and post-secondary readiness. Our district is double digits above the standard in every one of those indices. Every one of those indices. And so that involves the lives of many, many thousands of students and the work of many, many teachers. But that's the condition of our district. Every school, every secondary school met the standard. And I want to take a minute just to highlight Sam Houston High School. Last year we spoke here about Sam Houston High School and the fact that they had not met the standard, that it was an improvement required school. Well, this year they met the standard, so congratulations to Fernando Benavides and Sam Houston High School. And if you know anything about Fernando Benavides or his school and the student population they serve and all that kind of stuff, the context of that school, and again, when I point out people today, they're representatives of many, many people in our organization. So I just use them as examples. And they're a little nervous when I use them as examples. But in this case, it's a good thing. Fernando can handle it. And so if you know Fernando and you know his passion for success, for students, for every student in his school, and does not leave it to chance, period. his philosophy, we don't leave it to chance. Every day they serve students, and that's true of all our campuses in our district, but congratulations on coming out of that improvement required, Fernando. Next, we'll look at some very important distinctions, and Jamie mentioned early college high school. We'll go through some of this in a kind of a summary level. 40 of our 69 campuses that were eligible to receive distinctions received at least one of the distinctions, which is huge for a district our size. 5 of the 7 high schools, all 12 junior highs, and 23 of the 51 elementaries received 1 or more distinctions. Very, very quickly and in a very summarized way, a distinction is another element to the accountability system that, by the way, I think is very strong. And I hardly ever say that about TEA or anybody else, but about the state. But it's very strong. It really is. And it's strong because it compares schools to schools like them. So schools like Sam Houston, schools like Lamar, schools like Bailey, etc., are compared to other schools like them throughout the state. And then they rank them. And if they rank in the top, they get a distinction. It's that simple. Well, those are the schools, 40 of our 69, that received distinctions. And I'm going to go through some of the other examples here in just a minute. But that's important because it's easy for things to get a little confusing when you try to compare schools within the district or schools from your neighboring district. Let's just look at schools that are like your school. It's a rigorous comparison. And it really raises the standard. Because if you're performing well but not earning distinctions, it also says a lot. It says that we're performing well as a campus, but against our comparable group, we have work to do. And so, 4 schools received all their distinctions: Arlington Collegiate High School, Bailey Junior High, Gunn Junior High, and Butler Elementary. Huge accomplishment. All distinctions. And I remember Bailey was, 6 out of 7? And this year was 7 out of 7, which is outstanding. And Tiffany Benavides, the principal of Bailey, is sitting over there next to Fernando Benavides. You can try to figure that out. But anyway, they are married. And so congratulations to Bailey and Gunn. I know Juan is here somewhere. Where are you, Juan? Juan's right there. Thank you. 9 schools received at least half: Arlington, Seguin, Ferguson, Nichols, Owsley, Shackelford, Ditto, Duff, and Piercy received at least half of their distinctions. Again, we don't take this lightly. This is hard work by our teachers and our staff every single day to make sure students are not only doing well at the school, but doing well compared to other campuses like them and like their campuses. We've partnered because there are other ways to measure success and performance. And so we've partnered with Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. That's a mouthful, so you just kind of look at the screen there. But that organization, if you're familiar with international testing and the PISA exam, P-I-S-A, if you're familiar with that and international benchmarking, we put ourselves out there with this organization and asked them, because they're the ones who developed the PISA exam, which compares other countries throughout the world to the United States. And we partnered with them. Actually, they sought us out because of the things we're doing in our district to sample our students and see how they benchmark across the United States and across the international education. And again, we don't have to do this. This is difficult because some of them we fare well, some we don't fare well. But unless you actually know, they're just assumptions. And so some of the points, and we just got the report, and so it's just some brief points. Students indicate that they have a positive learning climate in math classrooms. And you'll see why that's important, but that's really important that they do that. Reported on and either above average or average sense of self-efficacy. And without getting too theoretical here, self-efficacy is, do you think you can do this work? Do you think you as a student can accomplish math and science and engineering and things like that? Our students reported either above average or average in compared to other schools in the United States. 4 of our high schools performed at the national average in reading, math, and science. And again, these are national comparisons that nobody requires us to do, but our board is forward-thinking and knowing that unless we compare and unless we compete in this global economy, our students are at a disadvantage. So we're going to keep pressing this point. This is an early indicators. CTE certifications, because there's much more than the state accountability and things like that. We thought it was important to share with you that 1,702 certifications last year in our school district, 1,700. compared to 680 the year before. It's a huge, huge difference. And why? Why is that possible? It's possible because we have the support of this community. You've demonstrated by the things you've supported, the things that you have actually voted for, that you believe that equity is important, that you believe that there are barriers to education that we collectively must bring down. And so Career Tech Department was challenged. Okay, I challenged them, okay? And so they're sitting over there, Ginger and Craig, and you know them. Raise this, certifications. What's the barrier? The kids have to pay for it. That's a barrier. So we pay for it. What's another barrier? The time. Working schedules out. So we work them out. These are things a system should do to adapt to the needs of our students. Hence, 1,700 certifications that otherwise students wouldn't have. And what does that do? That helps them prepare for their future early on while in high school. Very proud of their work. So what guides our work? What is it that keeps us driving to excellence? And what guides our work is very simple. Access, making sure that learning opportunities are available for all students. Doesn't matter your background. Doesn't matter that last year you were not motivated. We're expecting you to be motivated this year. Okay? And if you're not, then we're expecting you to be motivated the second week of school. All right? That's life. We're on a continuous improvement, and we don't give up on kids. Fernando is a good example of that, and other people. We don't give up on kids because this is their progression to their life. This is not the end. Our education they're progressing through that. So when we do work, we do it with access in mind, with excellence. The fact that we go beyond minimum standards. And you're going to hear just in a minute some programming we're doing. And I never really like to critique other school districts, at least by name. And so we don't just start a program and say, now this year we're the XYZ campus. And last year we weren't. And it's the same staff and same curriculum and all the same design. No. When we make a commitment, when our board makes a commitment, when our community, our staff, our teachers make a commitment to start a new program, we do it with excellence in mind, beyond minimum standards. And then innovation, designing new and unique opportunities for students, pushing the envelope in innovation. We know that if we do not adapt, our students are simply not going to be as successful as they can. That drives our work, those access, excellence, and innovation. So how do we accomplish this? Well, let's start by talking a little bit about our fine arts dual language academies that are starting this year. In fact, in 2 weeks, approximately, we'll be welcoming the first kinder cohort to these fine arts dual language academies. And when we look at those kinder students coming in that are going to get an experience of being fluent and in a language program that they're learning English and Spanish with expected fluency on both. And when they're in second grade, they'll learn Mandarin Chinese as an elective. And they'll have arts for all, which simply means that they'll have dance, theater, music, and visual arts. So what does that mean? It means that students, we know, are cognitively developed differently when they are exposed to the arts. They're cognitively developed differently when they're exposed to language. And we know that when you combine those two things, well, we don't know what's going to happen. But actually, I'm kidding. We do know what's going to happen. Don't worry, Justin, I'm getting to you here in a minute. Okay, we don't know. We do know what's going to happen. The acceleration of cognitive development is going to happen with students. And they're going to be in an environment that they can challenge, an environment that they will someday, as they progress, be in charge of their learning. And I'll share with you just a little bit of how we think that's going to happen. So you know that I said kindergarten students are coming in for the first time to these two academies, right? And so they had to apply, not the kinder students, the parents, had to apply and had to be accepted and all this kind of stuff, right? And so we have some parents that are coming to school for the first time with their kindergarten student. And if you've ever met a parent of a kinder student for the first time, around this time of year, you can hardly understand what they're saying, right? Because they're just very nervous, and what's going to happen to the students and all that. Well, nothing's going to happen. Something good's going to happen, right? But then we have other parents in there who already have kids in the system, but they're having incoming kinder, so they decided to apply, etc. Well, because we know that we don't just build academies and then expect students to show up without balancing that equation. And if you look at some of our neighboring districts, again, no critique, or even across the state, they have specialized programs, and if you can get there, you're welcome to come. Well, we're providing transportation because we have a school in the north side of the district and the south side of the district. We're providing transportation so that students can have access. So kinder students are being transported to these two sites. Because as much as some parents want their students to participate, if they cannot afford to drive them there, it's a barrier. So our board has made a commitment, our staff has made a commitment to have transportation. But back to those parents. So those parents are expecting that these programs are exceptional. And we are expecting to deliver. Because we've taken the time. And back to the people in the organization, I can talk about these programs all the time. But to help give you a little context, we have Barbara Keaton. Barbara, where are you? Would you stand up, Barbara? Barbara Keaton. And if you probably know who she is. But Barbara, exceptional music teacher at the elementary level. When we were writing this curriculum, we called Barbara and asked her for her expertise and her help, along with Susan Malone and others, to help in this curriculum development. Because we can dream these programs, but unless you have the people who are willing to invest the time and have the expertise, they don't go. And in Arlington ISD, and the whole community of Arlington, but just Arlington ISD, we're blessed. We're blessed to have exceptional people that work every day. So Barbara, thank you for developing that curriculum. Is it ready? It's ready. She didn't know I was going to ask her that, but so look out, more are coming. So Justin Chapa, if you know Justin, anybody know, you stand up, Justin? Yeah. So Justin, before I even say anything, they clap, Justin. So you must have some, but Justin is one of those parents. He's bringing his kindergarten student to the academy, right? And Justin's nervous, right, Justin? Yeah, a little bit. Well, it's all good. We're ready. We're ready for the students. Dual Language Fine Arts Academy, outstanding opportunity throughout the entire system. And we've partnered with Amon Carter, Casa Mañana, you see the list there, UT Arlington and UNT, to build these right. STEM Academy. This is the program that Jamie mentioned, and we briefly mentioned it last year at the State of the District, because we had just talked to the board about it as a concept. Well, today it's a reality. Over 100 students have been accepted to this program from all our junior highs throughout the district. Not just one part of town, but all the junior highs throughout the district. And these are some of our STEM students. They don't look like they're involved in STEM activities today. But actually it's a team building activity. Or they're trying to figure out how the Rangers can win. Just kidding. They're winning. Okay, so that's a big STEM activity. But so these students will be the first group of students that are coming into the STEM Academy, partnering with UTA. And I'd like to kind of point out Michelle Davda. Michelle, are you here? Where are you? Would you stand up, Michelle? She's a teacher at Martin High School. And Amy Matzenbacher. Amy is also a teacher. Amy is our new STEM coordinator for this program. And I'll just tell you a little bit about the commitment, because we talk about the STEM Academy, UTA, and things like that, but the commitment from the individuals is huge. Because we floated an idea. Kabari and I talked, and again, he's not here, so he talked, made a bunch of commitments, but then we asked the teachers at Martin High School. Just an example. There's teachers everywhere in this district, just using it as an example. And they take it from there. because they take this information and this is the challenge. If you think, well, what's so hard about, creating a STEM academy? Well, let me tell you, some things that are hard about creating a STEM academy. Teachers in our district teach the advanced courses in math, science, engineering, and technology. They have to give that up and let UTA teach them so that they can get college credit. Now, that sounds easy, but it isn't when you're used to teaching the advanced classes. But there's a belief that this class and this program is bigger than the teachers. It's about those kids. And so they're going to take classes in mineralogy, genetics, cell and molecular biology, engineering, graphics, and industrial practices, object-oriented programming. That's what the kids are going to be taking through UTA professors teaching that, right? So what does our staff have to do? Well, they have to make sure that there's a pipeline. There's a pipeline ready. We know that students exist today, but there has to be a pipeline ready for these courses. And so that's that commitment from our staff. And I really want to commend the work that they've done. And the students are today in a bridge week at Martin High School, brushing up on their math and science skills, team building and things like that, so that they're ready for the first day of school. We provide transportation, and we made a commitment that this program is open to students from all over the district. And Amy and Marlene Roddy and others made that commitment. And when we were accepting, or when they were accepting, they did the accepting, by the way, if you have appeals. I'm kidding. Amy's leaving. When they accepted those kids, it was with that frame that we're serving all our district. We're not serving one network and things like that. So very, very well done, STEM Academy. Arlington Collegiate High School, and we've talked about this earlier, and Jamie mentioned it. Thank you, Jamie, for reminding us of how important this initiative is. So they've been there 1 year. These are some of the students that have been there a year. This is towards the end of the year. And they've earned 1,117 college credit hours. 1,117 college credit hours. As freshmen, 14 and 15-year-olds, 90% economically disadvantaged at this school. And as freshmen, they're earning college credit. What's the difference? The difference is we've raised the standard, and that's happening throughout the entire district. You raise the standard and expectation for student performance, and then you challenge them. You have the right people in place to make sure that they're supported so that they can succeed. But we can't do it alone. If you notice the back row there's Bill Coppola, there's the chancellor. We can't do this work alone. And they've been very, very generous with making sure that this program is successful. In fact, at that picture there, we're burying a time capsule. That silver cylinder thing that little girl's holding there, a time capsule that we're going to open in 50 years. Well, Bill's going to open it because Bill was putting his tie and his pens, and Bill, it's not yours. It's not yours. This is for the kids. So we put their acceptance letters and things like that. 50 years, so we're burying the time capsule, right? And they were making fun of, in 50 years, your hairstyles will change. Bill's is not worried about that. Just kidding. But we have a great relationship when I have the microphone. But he has his annual meeting, and he does the same to me. But anyway. So what's important about these programs, and these kids in particular, is that there were no extracurricular activities. There wasn't a student council to follow. There weren't kind of elections to build from. None of that infrastructure existed. And they created it. They created their own extracurricular. This is, I think, part of the student council. They created their awards program, on and on and on, because we've raised the expectation for these students. The average GPA is 3.17 for these students. 99%, I think, attendance rate for these students, right? Coming from all over our district, every junior high. Exceptional program. Fire and police academies, you're well aware of those. I keep highlighting those because we have people visiting these programs from all over the state and even from out of state as to how do we accomplish this. We added this year, or into this year, EMT. So students who wanted to pursue their EMT certification, but didn't really want to be a firefighter, right? Career in Technology and partners with the city opened it up for EMT-only certification. And when you think of EMT certification, if you just know anything about that world, that's a high, high standard. And our kids are accomplishing that, they're becoming certified, and they're going to the workforce so that they can pay for college. Again, a novel idea, paying for college, right? While you're going through college. These kids are doing it. And our police academy just getting started, inspired by our fine police department here in Arlington, Will and others, great leadership, outstanding. This year we're starting our instrument repair course, right? And if you look at the corner of that slide there, it's music and arts. Music and arts is a national or nationwide music distributor of instruments and music, right? Music and arts has a location in the Highlands. If you've been by the Highlands, they have a location there. We partnered with them to provide instrument repair, the only district in Texas and probably the nation to provide an instrument repair program. Because we know that some students like the fine arts, but may not be pursuing the actual instrumentation and things like that, the performance part of it. And so we have been working with Music and Arts, and they're a great partner. We provide the space, they provide all the resources, the equipment, the supplies, the instruments, all those things to repair instruments in our facilities. And so Bowie High School, and where's Bill? Bill, you're here. Bowie High School opened their doors to house this program, the instrument repair program. And it's an innovative program, and I'll, again, give you some context of the people. Jeremy Earnhardt, where are you, Jeremy? Would you stand up, Jeremy? This is our fine arts director. If you, Jeremy is relentless on excellence and providing opportunities for our students. Jeremy implemented the no fees for fine arts a year ago. So you want to be in fine arts, you want to be in band, orchestra, and all that, there are no fees in Arlington ISD, which is really, really forward-thinking, right? Well, he's pursued this music and arts partnership. And it's been a pursuit, hasn't it, Jeremy? Yeah, they're a little nervous, the private sector, about us. Don't know why, but they're a little nervous about committing and announcing and all that. But here we are, and they stepped up, and they're great partners. APIB Equity and Excellence Project. And you look at Equal Opportunity Schools, Google, and the Global Impact Awards there. We've partnered, and actually, again, this is another example of this organization seeking us out because of the things we're doing and the things that we have presented throughout the state and things like that with our board and our staff. And in this program, they've identified, and it's a complicated project, but I'll just summarize it very quickly. Their mission in Equal Opportunity Schools is to make sure that students who can be successful in AP and IB classes are enrolled. And you may think, well, that's not very difficult. But it is extremely difficult. Students that are capable in being successful in AP and IB and making sure that they're enrolled in those classes. It's a very simple formula. And they're providing the funding and the expertise and the system and the framework to do that. So, without casting any kind of blame or anything like that, there are a group of students in the hundreds that when you do an independent evaluation on their performance, elementary and junior high and even in high school, that are not in AP or IB classes. It is that simple. Now, you know, because anecdotally, you know some very high-performing students that are not in these classes, or you know of them, right? And without a system judging, and that's really important, and that comes from the board all the way through our system. We don't judge about why these kids are not in AP or IB. We don't. We could say, well, it's this fault, or they got kicked out, or the parents, or the economy, and whatever. You could go on and on. We don't. We simply identify a situation, and then we try to correct it. So this organization has partnered with us, and they'll start their work this year. I think they've identified about 800 students throughout our system that are not in these classes. And their task, and it's a big one, is to help these kids into those classes and support them, make sure they're successful, because all the data shows that they can be. And it's going to take principals like Fernando, Bill, Marlene, and I'll just keep going, Andy Hagman and others, to make sure that these students are integrated into those courses. Keeping with the innovation here, our Career Technical Higher Education Investigations class, we've talked about that several times, CTHEI. Every 8th grader takes that course to prepare for their future, prepare for their high school coursework, their resume building, interviewing skills, all those things that are important. Every 8th grader takes it in our system. The state doesn't require it. In fact, the state doesn't fund it. Tony? No, I'm kidding. Where is Tony? I'm just kidding with you, Tony, and Stickland and all these other. No. I know that you don't fund it, but here's the point. Here's the point. That just came out, but and I didn't even catch everybody. But here's the thing. Seriously, the point with this is that there's some things, and this is back to our state legislators and others. There's some things that districts have to just make a commitment and say we're going to do it regardless. We can't wait. We can't keep waiting and all that. And there are other priorities and all that. So there's no blame here. But our district made that commitment, said CTHEI is important, and notice it's been copyrighted, so we're selling it to other districts, the curriculum, to help pay for some of these costs. But here's the point with the CTHEI course. I'll stop here in a minute. Oh, and by the way, we're broadcasting live on the internet. First time ever. Maybe last. No, it's a joke. Okay, so in this program, we've had it a couple of years now, CTHEI, every 8th grader takes this course, right? And so they're learning what they have to learn, and they're challenging our high school, because the 8th graders are now empowered. They have all this information. They want to take these classes. And we had over, 500, 600 health care kind of courses that the kids wanted, and all of a sudden it flooded our system. We don't have that many courses or teachers and things like that, so we had to adapt. But it's empowering the 8th graders. Well, this year, they're doing one of their 6 weeks as an online learning experience. One of their 6 weeks in their coursework, because they're 8th graders the whole year, will be online, interacting with their teacher online, with their colleagues, with their peers, and online lessons. So that every 8th grader, before they get to high school, they've had an online learning experience in our school district. We're not required to do this, but we know that that's the future. Online learning is the future, and it has been here, and Kabari will tell you how much they've grown in online learning. Whether kids want to take it or not, we need to give them an experience for online learning. And so Carol Vu, Carol, are you here? Carol, would you stand up, Carol? Give her a round of applause. So Carol is one of those teachers in CTHEI, and she's one of those teachers that helped write the curriculum over last spring and into the summer. Writing the curriculum for that 6 weeks, her and a group of teachers, writing that curriculum to make sure students had what they needed, and it was an outstanding experience. Not just saying we're going to have an online curriculum learning and leave it to chance. And Carol is one of those dedicated teachers that worked in the summer and wrote this curriculum with her friends and her colleagues that teach this class. That's the behind the scenes that we don't see every day. Our employees over and over working. And that's going to affect over 4,000, make sure I get it right, over 4,000 8th graders next year. 4,000 that are going to have an online learning experience because people like Carol and our principals and our board, we've made a commitment. All right, we'll keep moving here. Elementary STEM labs. We're going to have 2 elementary STEM labs at every elementary. And STEM labs are just what they say, right? They'll be involved in science, technology, engineering, and math. And we have lessons being developed. Carrie Donovan, are you here, Carrie? It's one I didn't check in with. Carrie's way over there. I don't know, Carrie, did you get to eat lunch? Yeah? All right, Carrie's way over there. Carrie's one of our teachers who helped write this curriculum for the STEM labs. Because when the voters approved the bond, part of that was STEM labs at every elementary. So what does that mean? It means we may have to add on to some elementaries, repurpose some space, etc. But we can't just add facilities. We have to have a response to that. We didn't have STEM labs before. We're going to have them now. What's going to be different in students' learning is the challenge. And Ms. Donovan and others have worked diligently to make sure that the STEM lab activities and lessons are in place first day of school. They're going to create solar cookers, which would be nice now with all the sun, energy efficient towns that deal with energy efficiency. Behavior. Behavior is another important part of what we do in the school district. And so positive behavior interventions and supports. Our staff has worked diligently to make sure that our behavior expectations are adapted to the needs of our students. The same behavior expectations, they're high standards, but how we deal with those behaviors has to adapt to our modern student. And that adaptation means that the adults have to adapt to behaviors. And that does not mean tolerate. We've made that real clear. Not tolerate misbehavior, but correct the behavior before it becomes an issue. And so our staff has worked really hard, and that's a picture with David Mineta, who was representing the White House. And he came to the state of Texas to meet with individuals who are working on PBIS, because it's a big initiative with reduction and all that in crime. And so Region 4, which is a Houston area region, recommended that he visit us in Arlington because of the work that Michael Hill and others are doing around PBIS. All right, here's how we connect our entire community. This is a back-to-school kickoff. And look at those community partners on your screen. That's a commitment. Over 10,000 backpacks will be given out. August 15th will be the morning of August 15th. And that's our back to school. And you see the partners. We do not take that lightly. That's a huge investment of time and resource and energy and people to help us with our back to school. August 15th, if you want to come, there's still time to sign up to volunteer. It'll be about 72 degrees in the stadium. Okay. Boys and Girls Club Center. Again, a huge partnership. Steve, where are you, Steve? Steve Worm is the director or the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club in Arlington. We're building a school in North Arlington, and the Boys and Girls Club need a facility in North Arlington. And we've partnered with the help of the city of Arlington. I will not leave you all out. You're sitting right there and looking at me. The city of Arlington, the Tomorrow Foundation. Foundation. They said it in unison. The Tomorrow Foundation has helped huge. Without your help, it couldn't happen. And Steve Worm and I and the school district partnered to build a Boys and Girls Club branch in the facility, serving over 200 students a day who otherwise would not have after-school care. And Boys and Girls Club, they need a new branch. We're building a school. It makes sense to partner, expand our footprint, and serve our students. And so they're paying for the space. That's the other part of this. But they're paying a fair rate, cheaper than they could to build one or buy property and all this kind of stuff. And that's a partnership that we're very proud of, looking forward to the success of that. Early admissions. You remember that we talked a lot about UTA, early admissions, top 20%. Well, this last year, UNT joined the group here, UNT at Denton. And they provided early admissions for all our students as well, the junior level students. And so usually you don't see those two little logos together. And again, Kabari's not here, but today we put them together because they're providing opportunities for our students like none other. Top 20% automatic admissions to 2 universities in Texas because of their performance. Leadership development. This is our Emerging Leaders Program. And this is the first cohort that went through our Emerging Leaders Program, sponsored by Raise Your Hand Texas, hugely funded by HEB, the food store, and New Leaders. And you see that picture, that was last year around this time. They look happy, they just started the cohort, right? Well, about over half of them, this is building our own pipeline, over half of them have been promoted within our school district because they've invested the time in leadership development, right? And so, yeah, so somebody is waving over there. I hope you're one of them. Okay, good. So Ray Borden, Ray, would you stand? Ray is our new principal at Turning Point High School. Ray is one example of the type of person that went through this program. Ray's in that picture. He's right in front of me. And so Ray did an outstanding job in this program along with all his colleagues in cohort. And so it's really paid off. Our bond. We can't leave without talking about our bond. Well, who are those people? Oh, well, those are our namesakes, right? Our newest namesakes. So Laura Jones, are you here, Laura? Where are you, Laura? I know I saw you there. Laura Jones and Jimmy, of course. It's a Jones Academy, and it's not just Laura, it's Jimmy and Laura, right? Yeah, she's laughing like, yeah, right, okay. No, it is. Diane Patrick, I don't know if she could make it or not. Sandy McNutt and Eddie Peach and his wife, Debbie Peach. And so these are our newest namesakes, about the people. And that's the whole theme here, is that it's about the people and the people that have dedicated so much to our school district. So there's Peach Elementary on Baird Farm Road, opening this time next year, if they get started. Kidding. No, they will. They're getting started, actually. McNutt Elementary, opening this time next year on the Workman Junior High School property. That's our multipurpose activity centers. They'll be putting some more detail to that. That's our MAC Center. And this is at every high school, an indoor facility so that students can practice and the fine arts can practice as well. Workman Junior High, the expansion of Workman Junior High, and that's part of the rendition there, will happen and be open August 2016. Corey Academy, the Fine Arts Academy, 20 of 16. We repurposed, and that's what it'll look like. So you know what to look for this time next year. If there are any delays in this construction, Cindy Powell will be doing the No, I'm kidding. All right. No pressure. The Jones Academy, we just talked about that. The former Rockmore Elementary site, and that's where the Jones Academy, opening 2016. We'll talk a little bit, not too much, because this is a project that's just getting started. That's our Career Tech Center off of Pioneer and Browning, where Hutchinson Junior High School location. And I'll just have to share just a little bit here back to the people. This year in particular, and it's just going to increase throughout the next couple of years. So it's kind of a fair forecast to what's coming. But this year in particular has been a little difficult for internal staff because we're repurposing schools, we're surplusing, nobody's losing their job, by the way, let me make that very clear. But we're surplusing teachers, they're going to teach in other buildings. We're consolidating schools. We had 12 junior highs, we only need 10. It's a harsh reality, but we all dealt with it. And we're consolidating student populations, communities, parents, staff. And we're consolidating those at a pretty, healthy clip, if you will. And so that does something to the organization. There's a little bit of stress and anxiety and things like that. And we understand, but the people who lead that consolidation are simply outstanding. There's an example right there, and this is where we're having the last performance for Ferguson, because Ferguson Junior High is going to move to Owsley Junior High. And I'll just have to tell you that it's coming back on. Laura Thurston is the principal of Owsley. Where are you, Laura? Can you stand up? Thank you, Laura Thurston. And so just to give you a sense of the commitment. So Laura is the one that is, and we're doing that at Hutch and Workman too, but let's just talk about one. And so Laura Thurston took those two schools and is consolidating as the leader of that campus. And where we had processes in collaboration with staff so that they could make their decision about consolidating and things like that. The student population, so that they'll work well together as they come together this school year. All this happened in the spring, and all behind kind of the background. And they're working diligently to make that a success for this time of the school year. And Laura Thurston was one of those who, when we were going to consolidate those schools in the middle of the year, because we had some other movement at Ferguson, she said she would want to run both schools starting in the spring, because it's important for them to know the principal that they're all going to have in the fall. So Laura volunteered to do that. Remember that, Laura? Yeah. We didn't make you do it, right, Laura? No. Or at least nobody told me that we made. No. Laura volunteered, and it's a great effort. Very quickly, just so you get a sense of what's coming, we'll be talking more about this as the years come, but those are our projects. it's important to kind of remind all of us that this work takes all of us, and we have a number of people in this audience and who are not here that are supporting our school system. And that picture right there is an example of a school that does tremendous work. And we have them all over our district. And please, I'm just using examples. Don't send me emails. But they do tremendous work throughout the district. And Rhonda Greer is the principal of that school. Rhonda, where are you? Could you stand up, Rhonda? She's one of our principals, principal of Ashworth Elementary. And that particular picture was a day where I decided that I was going to go teach. I've taught before. You look a little surprised. That I was going to go teach at the classroom. And so I picked 2 schools. Ashworth was one of them, and Seguin was the other, to go teach a class. I'll take the class. They send their lesson plans well ahead of time, so I can study them. And then I'll take the class and I'll teach. And so those are the kids that were actually doing the activity and reporting out and things like that. Well, Rhonda is the principal, right? Good sport, most of the time. No, very good sport. Rhonda did a walkthrough. You know, she came to see how I was doing. I don't understand, but you know, she says, well, you expect us to do walkthroughs on our teaching and learning, so here I am. And I said, thank you, Rhonda. That's very nice of you, very kind of you. And so things went well. The kids loved it. I loved it. It was really, really outstanding. But another example of just the great people. We have community partners all over this event. Too many to mention by name, but community partners that are just outstanding. GM is sitting over there with Fernando, represented over there, and just outstanding. The foundation, the Lions. I'm going to miss a lot of people. But here's the point. It takes all of us is the title of that slide, and it's titled that for a reason. It's really a blessing for me to be able to report on our school district. Number one, because this is the passion of my life. I love education because of what it's done for me and what I've seen it do for other people. So that's a blessing for me. But what is even more is the fact that we have thousands of people in the organization who do this work every day with none of this, you know, paying attention to and all this kind of stuff that we depend on every day. And it's in their service that I'm here and our board is here. It's because of their service and to them that we get to represent this. And just rest assured that in Arlington Independent School District, a student that comes through our school system, number one, has opportunities that none of us have ever had. But beyond that is a student that is depending on us, not just the school district, but us, all of us, depending on us to work together, to be functional, to support each other, to work out our differences so that they can be successful. And the most telling part of all that is that for the vast majority of our students, they don't even realize it because they're in grade school or this is not part of their radar. And so we're doing this work together, all of us, in the interest of kids. And the best way to do that work is when the people that are receiving that are simply benefactors and nobody's trying to keep reminding them of what we're doing for them. And that's the commitment we have in Arlington. And I'm pleased and proud to be the superintendent, and I'm so glad that you joined us today. So thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, very quickly, I'm going to ask Jamie Sullins to come up here. Thank you, Jamie and Wes. And we have added to our tradition here to add and award 2 community awards. Our community partner of the year is UT Arlington. Congratulations, UT Arlington. So I think Lynn Waters from the President's Office, Again, Kabari could not be here. Tremendous partner from research case studies to the TRIO program, to the pre-freshman engineering, Bound for Success, the STEM Academy, and all those things that they don't even know they were going to commit to. UT Arlington, congratulations to UT Arlington. We have something for you. Is it this one? Our business partner of the year goes to Lockheed Martin. AISD Engineering Internship Program is proud to have Lockheed Martin as a partner. They've given generously and have supported 13 of our students as participating interns, and where they're requiring the CTE knowledge that they need. And let me just say a little bit about Lockheed Martin. There's a lot printed here, but what you really need to know about Lockheed is that they open their doors. And I won't embarrass you too much, but they usually don't, okay? In a good way, high standard way. But they opened their doors to our students because they took a chance. And now they want to double the number of internships, maybe triple the number of internships. And you say, well, 13 and maybe 26 or 30, whatever, right? But the point with that, seriously, the point with that is that the doors they open for our students at their facility, huge win for our students and our staff and everybody else. But the doors that they open, because we take this story to every facility and say, if Lockheed Martin can host our interns for a whole year, you can. And those doors begin to open much, much quicker because of a Lockheed. In fact, GM has just early committed, maybe they don't want to talk about it yet, but internships, the same thing. They hadn't, and now they are. So Lockheed, thanks for the doors you open and the doors that you're opening for others you don't even know. Thank you.
I think you can see why we have an outstanding school district, but I do have a question. Rhonda, can we get a copy of that walkthrough report? I want to compliment the school district from 3 perspectives. One is about change. I had a mentor years ago who said the only constant in life is change, and there are only 2 things about it. It can be very debilitating when it's done to you, but it can be really exhilarating when it's led by you. And I want to compliment our school district for leading effective change. The second compliment I want to give them is about attitude. There was a story about a small boy and a younger sister trying to climb a mountain strewn with boulders, and the sister complained that the rocks were getting in their way, and the brother said, "No, sis, those are the handholds to get to the top." And it's all about attitude, and there's no doubt you have an outstanding attitude. And the last is diversity. If you looked at the statistical numbers that were given to you on the very first slide, we're a community of diversity, and we have a school district who's not only celebrating but committing to that diversity, because that is our future. So with those 3 compliments, thank you all for being here. Thank you for recognizing an outstanding school district. We're pleased and proud as a chamber to be your partner. We're adjourned.